we're going to find the equation of all of these sinusoidal functions. Now, every sinusoidal function can actually have 4 equations. It can have a positive sign, a negative sign, a positive cos, and a negative cos. The only difference between the 4 equations is your C value, your horizontal phase shift. You just have to shift it to make it land on that graph. Okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to find the A and the B and the D of each equation, and then on Monday we're going to find the C. All right. Sounds a lot harder than it actually is. So the A value comes from the amplitude, right? Our amplitude and the A value are the same. But our A could be positive or it could be negative. So let's look at this first one. We could actually count up our vertical distance of 20 and divide it by 2 and say it's 10. Or you can use the formula for amplitude, which is the absolute value of max minus min divided by 2. The reason why we use this is the absolute value of the max minus min finds that vertical distance for you. And that's why it's the absolute value, because it's positive. I don't know what I just hit. I think this cloudy thing over here brings up the news. All right. So this absolute value of max minus min finds that distance for you. So the absolute value of 10 minus negative 10 divided by 2. So this is going to be the absolute value of 20, which is 20 divided by 2. So my amplitude is 10. Okay? Now we're going to go down to the equations. Our amplitude is the A. We're going to get 4 equations. We're going to get a positive negative sign and a positive negative cos. We're just filling in the A's for right now. So down here, we're going to follow along, we're going to fill in. So we're going to go y equals positive 10 sine, y equals negative 10 sine, y equals positive 10 cos, y equals negative 10 cos. We'll fill in the rest later. But that's how we get the 4 equations. We have a positive negative sine A value, positive negative cos A value. Remember, our amplitude is the absolute value of A, or just the vertical stretch. So in all those cases, the vertical stretch is 10. Yes? Okay. Then we're going to flip over to the next one. Just doing the amplitude. So the next one, our amplitude is the absolute value of 2 minus negative 2 divided by 2, which is 4 over 2, which is 2. So now we're going to get y equals positive 2 sine, y equals negative 2 sine, y equals positive 2 cos, y equals negative 2 cos. You're going to do all the way up to example 6. Go. So this one, we're going to do max, which is 2, plus min, which is negative 2, absolute value divided by 2. Sorry, that's a minus sign. Guys, remember what I said? So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we get y equals positive 2 sine, y equals negative 2 sine, y equals positive 2 cos, y equals negative 2 cos. Then we're going to flip over. Okay, this one, our amplitude is the absolute value of negative 1 minus negative 7, so max minus min divided by 2, which is the absolute value of 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And if we count that up, we should have 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The vertical distance is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. You could count it as well. This just does that for you. So y equals positive 3 sine, y equals negative 3 sine, y equals positive 3 cos, y equals negative 3 cos. Okay, next one. This one, we do absolute value of 3 minus negative 3 divided by 2, which is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And we get our four equations. Y equals positive 3 sine. Y equals negative 3 sine. Y equals positive 3 cos. Y equals negative 3 cos. And then the next one. Now, they might ask for a specific equation, right? So if they ask for a specific one, how you know is this would be sine, and then A has to be positive. Sine, A has to be negative. Cos, A has to be positive. D would be cos, A has to be negative. So they could ask for just one of them, right? And you have to be able to find that specific one. So that's why being able to find all four works out well for us. Okay. So our amplitude is going to be here. Absolute value of the max, which is 5, minus the min, divided by 2, is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So for this one, I'm going to get y equals positive 3 sine. This I'm going to get y equals negative 3 sine, because a is less than 0. This one I'm going to get y equals positive 3 cos. And then this one I'm going to get y equals negative 3 cos. Yeah? Then we're going to flip back all the way to 1 again. So that's just getting all the a values, which are the amplitude, which ends up being our vertical stretch. All right. So when we go back, we need the b values. B stands for period, correct? So whenever people find the period and they go put it in for B, you're going to be wrong immediately. So look for that on the test. If I take the period and I put it in for B as one of the multiple choice answers, cross it off. Those are wrong, right? Because period is not B, which is period, which is made up. But we do need the period to get the B value. So this x-axis and all of the x-axis for all these questions are in radians. And how do I know that? Because none of them have a degree symbol. So every example I've given you is radians. If it was degrees, we'd have to do 360 degrees divided by the period, because these are our two options. So to get b, we either do 2 pi divided by the period, or if it's in degrees, we do 360 degrees divided by the period to get our b. So we have to get the period first in order to get our b value. So a period can be found from going from a max to a max, finding the horizontal distance, or a min to a min, finding the horizontal distance. Or if we can only see a max and a min, we would calculate that distance and then times it by 2. Or a min to a max, you calculate that distance or times it by 2. Or you could start on the y-axis, and if it's a max, go to a max. If it's a min, go to a min. If it's neither of those, you'd have to go past a max, past a min, back that spot. The period is how long it takes to repeat itself horizontally. Okay? So on this y-axis, I'm actually starting at a max. So I need to go to the next max. So how long is that taking me horizontally? 4 pi. This is true. So I go from a max all the way back to a max. That horizontally is 4 pi. After that, it's going to repeat itself again. Correct? Okay. So we know the period is 4 pi. That's the period. To get the b value, we don't put in 4 pi. Do you see how easy it would be to put 4 pi in for b? It will be on the test. It'll be put in for b. It's wrong. So cross those ones off. At least you have a 50-50 guess at that point, right? Okay. So b equals 2 pi over the period. Because that's how we get our horizontal stretch. And our horizontal stretch and the period are not the same. So b in this case is 2 pi divided by 4 pi, which is 1/2. Which makes sense because that's a horizontal stretch by 2. We went from 2 pi to 4 pi. So our b is 1/2. So we can go in, I put that in for our b's. So you get a bracket, 1/2. Bracket, bracket, close. Because we're going to put our c value, but we're only doing that on Monday. Open a bracket, 1/2. Bracket, bracket, close. We'll do it with the c later. 1/2. Bracket, bracket, close. 1/2. Bracket, bracket, close. Now, like I said to you, your A value is the same for all four. Your B value is the same for all four. Your midline, your D value is going to be the same for all four. The only difference between the graphs is shifting them so they land on top of each other. That horizontal shift. So I want you guys to go try and get the period of every graph and see if you can then come up with the B value. Okay, so for this one, you could go from a min to a min, which is 2 pi, or you could go from here past the max, past the min, back up to that height, and you still get 2 pi. So the period is 2 pi. So what is B when your period is 2 pi? 1, because there's no stretch. But you could go 2 pi divided by 2 pi and say it's 1. So when we go do our equations, we get 1, bracket, bracket, 1, bracket, bracket, 1, bracket, bracket, 1, bracket, bracket. Okay? Next one. So for this one, we can go from a min to a min. And this is the one that I said, 0.67, you can put as 2/3. Because this is 1/3, it just should have dots behind it, and it should be 0.66 now. Okay, so the period is 2/3 because it's from a min to a min. But the B isn't 2/3, the B is 2 pi divided by 2/3. And it's in radians because the x-axis does not have degree symbols. Sometimes it's confusing to people, so you could go 2 pi over 1 divided by 2 over 3, which is the same as 2 pi over 1 times 3 over 2 pi. 3 over 2, sorry, not 2 pi. The 2's cancel, and your answer is 3 pi. All right. So then we would go in, and we go 3 pi, bracket, bracket, 3 pi, bracket, bracket, 3 pi. All right. Okay, so then we go to this one. We could go from a max to a max, which is 0 to 4. How much is that horizontally? Period of 4, which is not our B. Our B is our period, right? So you wouldn't put a 4 in there. So if there ever was a 4 in for B, we would cross those ones off. They would be wrong. So B is 2 pi over period. So in this case, B is 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. And so we go pi over 2, bracket, bracket, pi over 2, bracket, bracket. Okay? Then we go to the next one. So we could go from a max to a max. Please be quiet. Which is -1 to 3, which is a distance of 4. We could do that. Or we could go from 0, just knowing that that is not a max or min, so I have to go past the max or a min first. So I pass the min, past the max, back up to that height, and this is a distance of 4. Or we could go from a min to a min, -3 to 1, which is a distance of 4. Either way, the period is 4. Yeah? So we have a period of 4. So our B equals 2 pi over 4, because the x-axis doesn't have a degree symbol, it's in radians, which is pi over 2. We do pi over 2, bracket, pi over 2, bracket, pi over 2, bracket, pi over 2, bracket. Yeah? So remember, period and period are not the same thing, but you use them to get each other. Okay, and then our last one, the period is hard for max, max, min to min, so I would rather just start on the y, pass the min, pass the max, back up to that height, and it happens at pi. So the period equals pi. So b equals 2 pi over the period. So it equals 2. So we get 2, and then theta something. 2, theta something. 2, theta something. 2, theta something. Okay, we have one last thing to go through. It's the midline. So the midline is the horizontal line that cuts the graph in half. Horizontal lines are y equals lines. So we're going to find the y equals line that cuts the graph in half. So same amplitude up, same amplitude down. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the horizontal line that cuts the max and the min in half. Correct? Also known as the mean on a test score. If I wanted the mean, the actual average of a minimum test and a maximum test, I would take those two values, I'd add them up and then divide by 2. That is actually the formula for the midline. So the midline formula is max plus min divided by 2. The catch here is you have to do y equals, because it is a midline. So we need to give a line. A line is an equation, a y equals equation or an x equals equation. Horizontal ones are y equals. So we want to find the average. So you have to go y equals, froze here last time too, so freeze here again, I'm so sad. 10 plus negative 10 divided by 2. We're just finding the average score. Remember? So you add them up, divide by 2. We're trying to find that average. So y then would equal 0 divided by 2. So y equals 0. So that's our midline, which is our d value. So we're going to add 0 to the end of each equation. Do we have to write the plus 0 at the back? No. What I do need you to do, though, is on every single one of these graphs, we're going to draw the midline, because the midline actually helps us get the c values for sine. So don't skip. You have to go back if you moved ahead. We have to go to where y equals 0. Y equals 0 is the x-axis, and we draw ourselves our midline. So draw that and write y equals 0. We're going to draw our midline on every single graph because it helps us get the c values for sine. So make sure you draw the midline. If you don't, you're going to have to draw it on Monday. Okay? We'll go ahead and do the next one. So our d is going to be max plus min divided by 2. So y equals, don't forget the y equals or it's not a midline. It's a mid something, I don't know what, but it's not a line. So it's y equals 2 plus negative 2 divided by 2, which is 0 over 2, which is 0. So y equals 0. Which means once again I'm going to have plus zeros at the back, which I don't have to write, but I'm doing to prove the point. And then go up to your graph and draw your midline at y equals 0, which is the x-axis. I'll come back down to that in a second. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to do a different color. Okay, I'm going to put my midlines on. Yes? Okay, you go do the rest. Next one, we have 2 and negative 2. So what? That's a highlighter. Make sure that you write y equals. If you don't have y equals on all your midlines, you're wrong. So it's going to be 2 plus negative 2 divided by 2, which y equals 0 over 2, which y equals 0. So plus 0, plus 0, plus 0, plus 0. And then I go up here and make sure I draw my midline. Okay. Then the next one, I have -1 and -7, so I get y equals -1 plus -7 divided by 2, which is -8 divided by 2, so y equals -4. So at the back of every equation, I'm going to have -4, and -4, -4, -4. Now what you have to remember is, you can know if you're right or you're not, because when you go to draw that midline, it should be the same distance up as down, which that distance should be your amplitude, correct? So you can double check it. So -4. If I count it up, -4 to 1 is 3, -4 to 7 is 3. So that's a good thing. Okay. This one, I have -3 and 3, so it's symmetrical about the x-axis. So y equals -3 plus 3 divided by 2. So y equals 0. Quiet, please. You guys have done really well. Until this moment. Y equals 0. And then we have our last one, which is from 5 to -1. So my midline is y equals 5 plus -1 divided by 2. So y equals 4 over 2, so y equals 2. So if I draw that, it is 3 up and 3 down, so I know I'm right. And then I get a +2 for that.